For years, I told my patients they had to go on a low sodium diet in order to have the best risk of avoiding high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, and more. And I knew it was hard. You have to not go out to restaurants. You got to limit processed foods. You've got to avoid deli meats, even baked goods. You've got to put away the salt shaker. And all of that is a real challenge. I know because I did it myself. And even though I was on a low sodium diet for years, and even though I encourage my patients to do the same, I now know that I had it flat out wrong. The evidence doesn't support low sodium diets the way it used to, and this data is now controversial, but there is another answer to limiting your risk of heart disease, stroke, and high blood pressure, and I'm going to give it to you right now. Now, for decades, doctors like myself have been telling our patients they need to be on a low sodium diet in order to limit the risk of hypertension, heart disease, and stroke. Now, this has always been a tough sell. Going on a low sodium diet is hard. There's sodium in restaurant foods. It's in packaged goods. It's in processed foods. It's in deli meats, baked goods, cheeses, and more. So limiting sodium can be a real challenge if you want to enjoy the constructs of modern living. However, if you do it, it can take a long time to adapt to that low sodium diet. And during that month or so that your taste buds need to acclimate, food tastes really bland. So generally, only the highest motivated patients are the ones that do it. These are the people who already have serious heart conditions or other diseases that make them more motivated than most to go on those low sodium diets. So it's always been a tough sell. And I tried to do it myself, and with varying degrees of success, I kept to a low sodium diet for years. But then in 2011 and then in 2014, new studies came out that threw this whole idea of low sodium diets into doubt. These two studies in the Journal of the American Medical Association and the New England Journal of Medicine showed that in large groups of people, those who got the highest sodium intake did poorly, higher risk of disease and death, but so did the people with very low sodium intake. And this made selling a low sodium diet impossible. I mean, there's real evidence out there now saying that perhaps people with the lowest sodium intakes don't do that much better than the average population. And especially for myself, it was harder for me to get motivated to tell a patient that they really needed to drastically reduce their sodium intake in order to improve their health outcomes when two large studies in credible journals are saying the exact opposite thing. But in the research, we were missing something big, and that's what I want to tell you about today, because it turns out it was never about the sodium to begin with. In both of these trials, while the extremes of sodium intake led to an increased risk of serious heart conditions or death, the one electrolyte that had the biggest impact was not sodium, but potassium. In both of these trials, the population that had the highest intake of potassium had the lowest risk of heart disease, stroke, and overall cardiovascular mortality. This was a new revelation. It was never about the sodium. It's all about the potassium. And there's actually good physiologic reason for this. You see, your kidneys are designed to filter both sodium and potassium and keep those electrolytes in balance in your body. And there's actually a switch inside the kidney called the sodium chloride cotransporter, and this is activated by potassium. When you don't have enough potassium in the diet, your body retains all the excess sodium in your diet. However, when you increase your potassium intake, the switch is deactivated and your body is able to flush out sodium and water, restoring the balance to your body. It's why potassium is a greater indicator of cardiovascular health and mortality than your sodium intake. And other research supports this idea that potassium is way more important than sodium. In fact, the impact of sodium on blood pressure is totally attenuated by the administration of potassium. People on high salt diets who are given potassium have a greater blood pressure response than those who are on low sodium diets. This means that potassium is really working to offset and really balance the effects of sodium on the body. So after decades of telling my patients that they need to be on low sodium diets, I've changed my tune. I no longer focus on sodium unless they're in that outlier group that's getting way more sodium than their body can handle. We're talking more than 4,000, 5,000 milligrams of sodium daily. Instead, I focus on potassium. The average intake of potassium among American adults is right around 2,500, 2,600 milligrams daily. I try to get those people up to 4,700 or 5,000 milligrams daily, which is the amount of potassium necessary for optimal health and kidney function. So if you're worried about sodium, I've given you some evidence to think about whether you should be really thinking about potassium. Talk to your doctor, talk to your cardiologist, leave me some comments, and I want to know what you think. Thanks for watching. And if you want to learn more about potassium's impact on blood pressure and kidney function, watch this next video coming up now.